everyone. I am Sasha Thackaberry-Voinovich, and I am joined today by Melanie Thompson, and we are talking about careers, getting a job, advancing in a job, and to get us started, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Melanie?
Well, thanks, Sasha. Glad to be here with everyone and to talk a little bit more about finding a job. And let me tell you about me. How did I find my jobs? Well, it was a little different back when I was looking for a job. I've been in higher education for the last 10 years as a project manager. Previous to that, I was in manufacturing. Previous to that, I did some customer service work. So what I'd like to talk about today is, since the Great Resignation, how finding a job has changed. And it's changed a lot. As you know, Sasha, we're in the world of AI now that has caused some significant changes in the way that we look for jobs. Small piece of that is really just a lot of folks are using platforms like LinkedIn that have these what you call easy apply buttons. They're making a very big change to the way recruiters are actually getting your information. And what that means is they're getting an overwhelming number of jobs. We talked about AI, and with AI, what's happening is AI can actually apply to jobs for you. They can just be sent out while you're sleeping. So they're applying to those jobs. That means there's a lot more going on, and there's a lot of folks who are just overwhelming, let's call it, the system. So that's been one of the big changes.
And I've seen that on the other side as a hiring manager as well, is, you know, you used to get 25 applications for something, you get 400, but you don't know, right. There's no way to tell just looking through them, like how many of them are legitimate. If you want to be diligent and look through every single one, right. Sometimes you even catch things that look like AI, both build and submit someone's resume and cover letter. You can sort of hear it. And it's hard to filter out, you know, the quality from the noise. So I think this is a struggle on both the individual applicant side, and it's a struggle on the employer side.
Absolutely. Recruiters, they want to be there for you. I know people sometimes have this love-hate relationship with the recruiter. But the recruiter wants to get you the job, but they are overwhelmed with these systems that are just so automated. And again, like you said, as a hiring manager, is this a bot? Is this a bot that applied for this job? I mean, we've heard things like that too. So the first step that I say for anyone who's out there looking for a job, if you are looking for the job, one of the things you're really going to have to do is really just put yourself out there. What does that mean? Let me sort of start before you're ready. You might have your resume done. You're like, I'm ready. Well, one of the things you might want to do in that case is make sure that your LinkedIn profile is updated, that it's real. And maybe if you haven't posted for a long time, maybe you want to make a post so people know, you know, sort of wake it up, that people know that you're there. So that's sort of one of the first steps that is going to kind of separate you from the bot, let's say, if you wake those platforms up. Have you posted, are you part of any networking groups? Have you posted to those? That can even be on Facebook. Have you updated your LinkedIn? Make sure that people know that you're in the field. So that's one of the first things I would say to do, for sure.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree. And if someone has not freshened up their LinkedIn profile in a while, that's absolutely integral. I would say in this day and age is like job one is be discoverable. Let people know that you're a human.
Absolutely. One of the other things, the extra step you could take in that, in really starting before ready, is maybe start a profile. That's a portfolio profile. Just a basic website. You can use things like Notion now, if you're familiar with that. Real basic website, Wix. Let people know that it's not just your LinkedIn. Here's some other things that you're doing. And one of the ways that you can create that portfolio really is to start learning out loud. So there's lots of things that you're doing in your courses. So if you're going to be in a course, you could, hey, I've got this learning that I'm doing, and let me post that. Maybe it's a case study that you did. You could post that on your portfolio. You could also post it on LinkedIn. But make sure that what you're doing is sort of learning out loud, and people love to join the journey of someone who's learning, and they may join you along the way. So, once you've got that learning, there are some other steps that you have to take as you're learning out loud and you're looking for that job. But that's
Yeah.
2 steps so far in the process, really.
Yes, I love the learning out loud for a couple of different reasons. One, what you were saying about the journey is absolutely for real. Like, invite people into your journey. I mean, people want to be a part of the story, right? Their own and others. And then that's actually something we baked into our model, right? At Newstate University, is that every course ends with, well, it's very project-based, right? Something you could share.
Yeah.
And then we also require folks to do an explainer video. And this is exactly why, so that they share it. You use that to build your own professional brand, because that professional brand is what will really give you an edge in a very competitive marketplace.
Absolutely. People are joining your journey. You're doing those posts on LinkedIn about what you're learning. You're creating a network. So that's really like the next part of that. You want to, now that you have something, the conversation you've started, you can network and you can kind of tell your story. It makes it easier for you to go to a networking event, do a face-to-face job fair.
Like
go
a job
ahead
fair,
and start a job fair. Go to one of the webinars that are offered through LinkedIn or all those places and talk about, hey, maybe you were doing something with AI. This is an AI webinar. You can have that conversation and you can point back to where you've got your portfolio or where you've gotten your learning on LinkedIn. So those are some of the things that you can do. Network, network, network. We've all heard, you've probably heard it too, your network is your net worth. So that's really, really a next important step. So all the things you talked about that you'll be doing, they can post, they can also network with that information.
Yep. And that can be valuable. What you're learning, someone else could want to be learning it as well. And when you're doing even like virtual webinars, which I guess all webinars are virtual, but webinars that are around like a specific professional group or, something that's networking, you can follow up with those folks, because a lot of times they'll share their names or sometimes even their LinkedIn profiles, and you'll be able to go and reconnect with them. So don't just be like a fly on the wall, but really take it all in and reach out afterwards.
Yep, that's a great tip. That's a great tip. And as you're trying to get that next job or the next promotion, those things, having those connections that you just talked about, is really going to help you get to that next level. If that's a new job, if that's a promotion, they might have information about like what else you need to learn to get promoted. So that's when you're able to use your network to land that job. And then if you land that job, then you still need to be sharing with your network. And what I mean by that is, you've landed the job. Don't let your LinkedIn, don't let your portfolio, don't let everything go to sleep, because you're a professional in the field. You're the expert. Keep that expertise going. And what you're going to be able to do is you've landed the job, and now you can lead. You can lead with, hey, I have this job. This is what I'm learning. This is what we're doing. You can sort of be an expert in your field and help maybe lead somebody else to their next job. So it's that virtuous cycle that you continue to help others as you're landed and you're now leading to what's next, that next promotion.
I love that. I love that. And this is where sometimes like informational interviews can be very helpful. Someone reaches out, they have a conversation, you connect them with someone else who might have an opportunity for them. But there is such a thing as career karma, right? So the folks that you are able to help out, that becomes that virtuous circle that you were talking about, Melanie, right? And then, I was talking to another fellow, actually, a project manager, which is one of the fields that we specialize in. And he was saying how, you get your opportunity, you go there, and then you have to crush it, right? Because
Yes.
that does become your reputation. And so all of those things sort of link together to create this opportunity.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I was just reading a LinkedIn post today, and that LinkedIn post gave you the steps to which this person got their job. So they joined a LinkedIn group, then they went to a in-person event. That LinkedIn group had an in-person event. They met someone at the in-person event. The person they met at the in-person event told them they needed to connect with this other person. So basically, it's 5 people down the line, and they have a job. And so it's, I'll introduce you to someone else in my network will introduce you to someone. And it could be that you started out with like you said, you started out with the webinar, you did an in-person event, then somebody else suggested somebody else, you had a coffee chat, you had an information interview, and then you got the job. So it might be that sort of a path that you take, but all of those are so important. Everything, coffee chats, the informational interviews, the job fairs, the webinars, all of these things are going to help you learn and build and get you to that next level for sure.